Morning, Zach.
Good morning.
Did you finish up your regional project?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You will be presenting those today.
I hope it's good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I have no doubt in my mind. So, what'd you do on your snow day? Slept in?
That and I just sat around all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did a little bit of work.
Did you?
Just, yeah.
That's good. Did you haven't had a chance to grade I think it was apple brand muffins. Did you get that done?
Yeah.
Nutrition? Okay. Some people did their work and then other people did not. So
I didn't
we
know.
gotta,
I just did it all. All the stuff that was due
yeah,
Friday.
that makes sense. I mean, makes sense to me. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to go for your presentation today?
The food one?
Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. All right. Hi, Caitlin. Are you ready to go for your regional presentation today?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just give it maybe a couple minutes just to see if anyone else joins us. I was just asking Zach what he did on his day off. What'd you guys do?
I don't even remember. Well, is it Friday?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't even remember what I did.
It all blends together, doesn't it? Oh, you had basketball. I didn't know you were on the basketball team. How did you guys do last night, Caitlin? Didn't you play? I was thinking I saw something like live or something like that that was showing basketball.
The JV girls played, but I
Oh,
went and they won. They lost by like 2.
who'd they play?
Northwest
Oh, okay. Is that Parma Northwest?
Jackson.
Jackson Northwest. Because my son is on the freshman team and we were in Parma last night and they lost. So
Yeah.
yeah, my daughter was supposed to play basketball, but she decided she didn't want to. So I don't get to go see her play, which is sad.
Wait, I think no, the guys were in Jackson too last night.
I wonder if they were in
Cause
not
I went to
Parma.
the Jackson Northwest is where we were at. Cause I went to the JV game.
Okay, so isn't Parma different though?
Yeah, Parma's different, but we were at
Oh, but you were in
Northwest.
Jackson. Ah, so we were in
Yeah.
the same town at the same time.
Yes,
That's
I went for JV
crazy.
though.
Wow. So why were you at the boys JV game, Mackenzie?
For my boyfriend, Landon
Oh,
Roach.
oh yeah, I just had Landon first.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yes, all
They,
right.
they
I
lost by
must
a few, but varsity won by like 30, so
really. Wow,
I
that's
don't know,
great.
something like that.
Uh-huh. Very
Hmm.
good. Well, I was telling Landon, I said I wish that my son played JV so I could watch you guys play, but if he plays JV next year, because you guys are 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
So isn't JV, well, I guess he could be pulled up on varsity next year, but
Yeah,
I
because
don't know.
they'll be on varsity next year.
Varsity, yeah. And he'll be on JV. So maybe when Landon's a senior and Cole, my son, is a junior, I'll get to see you all
Yeah,
play. If he plays,
there you go.
if
No, he really likes it. He hasn't
does he?
played since like seventh grade just
Oh my
because
God.
I don't know. So the experience, like he hasn't played
Uh-huh.
in a while, but he is good. So like the first game was rougher, but we definitely will have a good team, so it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, my son keeps threatening that he doesn't like it and he doesn't want to play. I'm like, you're so good. Why would you quit something? You
Yeah,
silly
no,
boy.
Landon loves it.
Oh, boys. Drive me crazy. No offense, Zach. Okay, so we got a lot to do today. I'm going to show you the warm-ups. You missed one on Friday, but you're still responsible for that one of last week. And I'm going to be collecting those on Friday. So just make sure you get them all done by that time. Remember, I don't take late points on those. So if you don't get around to it till next week, that's your prerogative. It just means that your work is piling up. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather get something done when it's due so I don't have to worry about it. But each to his own. So I will show you Mondays and Tuesdays warm up. I'll give you 2 minutes, one on each, and then we'll move into some notes that I need to make sure I get out to you. And the test is going to be next week, Wednesday. So put that in your calendar. Okay, so hold on. Let me go to Monday. Okay, so Mondays, remember you're just doing the end question. If you don't know, give me your best guess in a complete sentence with part of the question in your answer, and you'll be good as gold. All right, so 2 minutes, one on each question. Go ahead and start now. And if you guys ever just do these without me, you can just say, hey, Ms. Epka, we already did them. And then, Isabella, are you ready to go with your presentation today on the regional foods?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the next one. Here we go. Remember, if you don't know the answer, just give me your best guess. Or you can wait till we go through the notes, and I'm sure I will give some of the answers if that interests you. Four seconds. All right. All right. So those are due Friday. So, and you guys know we don't have school Friday, right? You're not going to show up to the meet and try to figure out where I am. So you know, just a really quick reminder. Okay. So, I didn't finish notes with you, so I want to make sure that I do that. It's not a ton, but it is something that you might want to take notes on because it's on your test. And I don't want you to come unprepared for that. So I believe we stopped at food processing. I'll just give you the rendition of before so you can either check your notes or try to recap in your mind. Mackenzie won't be able to help me out because she doesn't even remember what she did Friday. So hydroponics, we talked about biotechnology. Does this ring a bell to anybody? Help me out here. Anybody alive out there?
It might ring a bell. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, do you guys remember if you took notes on it?
Yeah, I remember we were taking. Well, I didn't take notes, but we were like taking notes.
Yes. Okay.
Oh wait, are we
So-
supposed to like actually write them down in like a document, like for an assignment?
I would, in my opinion, because they're on your test. But that's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you might want to start now because, but I also have a Quizlet that I put together that has a lot of these terms on there. So if you email me and ask me for it, I will pass it along. But I just ask that you not use it on the test because it's something that I did, not that you did. So, and then if you took notes, then you can use them on your assessment. And remember the last set of notes we did, it was on like food taboo, culture, ethnic foods, status foods, that kind of stuff. I believe I gave you a guided note, so you actually took notes and got points for that section of this unit. But I do believe that was in our nutrition class. That was the first semester. And remember, I switched like 2 weeks into the new 9 weeks. So you might have to go back and look at those notes in that other classroom, FYI. So hope that makes sense. All right, so I am going to start at food processing. I'm going to race through these notes and, you know, they're on your test. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm just going to go ahead and present, and then we'll go into the presentations once I get through this. Okay, so here we go. So we're talking about how food influences, or how our choices, let me start this again. Influences on food choices. So food processing does influence, what foods are available, how they're packaged, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to race through that. So food processing is preparing and handling food for safety, nutrition, convenience, and appeal. So, let's just talk about apples. So you go to the orchard, they pick the apples, that's handling. Then they go into a processor where it needs to be overlooked by sanitation issues. They, will ship it out. They'll make applesauce, frozen juice, pies, pastries, dried apples, and they all have to have a nutritional food label. And then they will make them convenient, so you can buy them whole. Like I said, instead of going and buying your own juicer to make apple juice, you can just go buy apple juice. So it's the convenience. And then the appeal, if they're setting them out as a product, you want them to not be bruised and brown and just gross. You want them, to be appealing to the consumer so that they buy them. So that's all about food processing. Okay, so how do foods get preserved? There's lots of ways. So one is that every food has a shelf life. That means it's the length of time that food stays safe, nourishing, and appealing to eat. So they have this little cartoon here with this milk. And basically on milk, there's something called a pull date. It's on all foods, but you wouldn't buy milk that was set to expire today. The store cannot sell it if it has an expiration date on it. They have to pull it from its shelves. So there's something called shelf life, and you shouldn't purchase something that's expired. Then you have preservative methods. You have freezers that help slow the growth of bacteria. So like my family, we go to Sam's, we buy like 2 packages of fresh chicken breasts, and we come home and we kind of get all the fat off of it, and then we cut them in half, and then we freeze them. So that way when I'm ready to cook dinner, I don't have to, slice away any of the fat. They're ready to go. I just have to cube it or prepare it in a way that's convenient. And so freezing makes it food very convenient. Canning is using really high temperatures to kill the bacteria, and it's sealed in an airtight container. So if anyone in your family ever does canning, they put those steel tops on them, and then they compress down. So they are airtight. And they can stay, in your pantry or cellar or whatever for very long periods of time. Same within the store, they're on the shelves, and they can stay there for a long time. When people dry things, they're removing all the moisture. So they're sucking out that moisture, and that keeps bacteria away. And then there's something called irradiation, which they actually pass food through radiant energy, which kills disease-causing bacteria without losing any of the nutrition. So they do have to have that little symbol there, that green circle with the little plant in there, to let consumers know that it was run under radiant energy. Some people are, not wanting their food to be under that, and so they wouldn't purchase a food with that symbol. Curing is usually, you'll hear that when you're talking about ham and bacon, but it's a way that they will process the food in salt, sugar, spices, vinegar to preserve it. Usually, like when I watch, Alaska, the Home Frontier or whatever, it's a show, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. They, their nearest store is like 200 miles away. So they usually but they usually kill their meat and then they cure it so that it lasts for a long time. And they're not, having to worry about any type of bacteria or spoilage or anything like that. So food preservatives do help us, make our food choices in a more convenient manner. Okay, so additives. The best way I can tell you this is it's stuff that's added to food. So like you'll have flavorings that are added, colorings, there's things that make ice cream thick and smooth. They have things that keep salt from clumping together. So like when you buy gummy bears or you buy Skittles or something like that, if you look on the pack of ingredients, they're going to say like yellow 25 or red 32. And so those are colors that were added. Sometimes flavor gets added. I'll make raspberry pie at my house and I actually add in red food coloring to make the raspberries more brilliantly red because in the cooking process they kind of dull in color. So even I am using some type of a food dye to make my food more appealing. Enriched means that when the processing took place, they lost some of the nutrients that were in the product. So they're going to add those nutrients back, and that's called enriching. And then when there was no nutritional value in the food, but they're going to add some nutritional value, that's called fortified. Okay. So those are terms that you will have to know on your test. So hopefully you're writing them down or have a photographic memory. Hopefully you have the photographic memory. Okay, so here's just an example. Look at the Fruit Loops. You have the Sunset Yellow. Okay, so that means there's a dye that's called Sunset Yellow that they use in Fruit Loops to get that yellow brilliant color on the loop. Okay, other terms of different things here that you may have no idea what that entails, but usually it's an additive, something that they've added to the food to either add nutrients back or nutrients was lost, and so they're putting it back in. All of those things are part of the foods that you choose to eat. Okay, so now we have agencies that oversee our food industry. So we have the FDA. Basically, the FDA, try to remember, it deals with regulations of the food label. They deal with safety. They also do not do anything with meat and poultry. Okay, so that's how you can kind of remember that it's more about the safety of food and the food labeling, but they don't do anything with the meat and poultry industry. The USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, agriculture just says to me like cultivating, farmer, things like that. And that's how you can kind of remember that. And they also do regulate meat and poultry. To me, agriculture, cattle, cows, farms, that kind of thing. And so the USDA, helps with that. So hopefully that can get you to remember that for your test. Okay, so now food packing. So sometimes food, aseptic packaging is part of trying to keep foods good on the shelf so that they don't perish and they can stay there for months at a time because there's certain preservatives that are in them. So like when you think of chicken broth, like if I had chicken broth at the house, I would have cooked a chicken and then some of the drippings off of the chicken, I would turn into a broth. You could make a soup or whatever, but I'd have to put it in the fridge because it's a broth that came off meat. And if I just let it set out, it's going to grow bacteria and things like that. But in the store, they sell chicken broth right on the shelf by the soups. And it's because it's an aseptic packaging and it has preservatives in it that keep it fresh for long periods of time. So that's aseptic packaging. Okay, then you have microwave packaging, which I know you know about. You got steamables. You can just throw them in the microwave, let them go for 7 minutes. Boom, they're done. You don't have to open a can. You don't have to turn on the stove. It's just a convenience item, and you don't have to use your oven to do it. Then you have recyclable packaging. So we used to call these TV dinners. but they're basically dinners, but they're in a tray that you can just rinse out and recycle. And then that helps with the waste that we have going on here in the US. And then there's just some things called facts and myths that I just quickly went over that people believe but are not true. Like one is that chocolate and greasy foods cause pimples. That's not true. It's the hormones that produce the acne and not the foods. Sugar makes you hyper. You know, there's nothing that is a direct correlation with sweets, drinks, and candies that lead to hyperactivity. Carbohydrates, some people don't eat them because they think they're, you know, going to make them fat or they're just not good for them. But carbohydrates are the body's best source of energy. And basically, what's causing people to think that they make them fat is that they overeat the carbohydrates and they don't eat the right carbohydrates. You know, pretty much everything has carbs in it, but you got to pick the carbs that are the best sources of carbs and not the ones that are the high sugary fat carbs. That's the problem. And then some people think, oh, I'm just going to take this supplement of calcium, and so I won't have to drink milk, or I'm going to take a supplement of vitamin C so I don't have to worry about, you know, getting my fruit or whatever. But really, whole fruits and fruits that are, you know, processed to give you all the nutritional value is going to be much beneficial than a supplement. So it's better to do the real thing than something that's fake or synthetic. And then you can build muscles by eating more protein. So basically being physically active builds muscles, not necessarily the protein that you're eating. Okay, so those are just some myths that are out there that people believe. Oh, excuse me, gosh. I got a tickle in my throat. I've talked too much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're going to do our projects. So I'm going to have you guys take notes. So if you look in Google Classroom, and you can kind of see on my screen right now, that there is a section called Regional Presentation Notes. And you're going to go in there and open that document, and you're going to take notes on what people talk about. You just need 2 of their local specialties or beloved dishes that they present on. They're going to present 5, but you only need 2. And then they need to provide history, so you only need 2 pieces of history out of the 5 recipes or food products or whatever they present, okay? Questions on that really quick? You understand what you need? I'm here. See if there's anything. No, you're not talking to me? What did I do to you guys? You're ignoring me? Getting a complex.
Wait, I thought you said 2 names of local specialties. I thought we only needed 1 for each place, like
Okay,
one.
so for your presentation, you had to do 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the notes that you're gonna take, so like Mackenzie, let's just say Zach's presenting on Great Lakes. So when he's presenting on this paper, you need to write 2 of the dishes he presents on, and then 2 of the pieces of history.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was brain fired. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, yep, no worries. Better to understand than to sit there and be confused. But I'm sure you were not the only one. Okay, so make sure you have that open while the participants are presenting so that you get that part of the points for your presentation. And then I will probably have an essay question on the test that pertains to the regional, and say something like, you know, write about 2 of the regional foods that you recall, and then 2 pieces of the history that were presented on it. And if you have your notes, then you can just go to your notes, pull it right off of that, and then you'll get the answer correct on your test or your little essay. So just make sure that you are taking notes so you have something you look back at when it comes to that assessment piece on the test. Okay. So we'll just start at the top. So Isabella, you drew the short straw, so you are up first. I just got to put it up on the screen here. There it is. Okay. So when you're ready, I'll just, after you're done reading the slide, I'll give these guys like maybe 30 seconds or so to write the things that they need in their notes. You guys don't have to write the one that you presented on. So if, like, for example, presented on the Great Lakes, in that little section on the note page, just say, this is the one I presented on. That's so I know why that one. Okay. So Isabella, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I did, okay, yeah. Hawaiian guava chiffon cake. So those are the ingredients on the side. And then how it's made, so you take the ingredients for the cake, you put them into the bowl, and you stir for about 2 minutes until it's a good creamy mixture. And then you take the mixture and you pour it into 2 separate round cake pans, and you bake it for about 35-40 minutes at 325 degrees. And after the cakes are done, you set them in the fridge to chill. And after about like 10 minutes, you take them out and then you start frosting it. And then after you've frosted it, you can put the topping on. And then the history, so Herbert Matsuba, the owner, he created this cake back in the early 1960s, and he wanted to create something that had a lot of Hawaiian flavors to it, something that just, yeah. And then to this day, the cake, it's very popular, and some people have to order a few days ahead before going in to get it because it's very popular.
If I go too fast, let me know. But remember, you just need 2 for each person's presentation and 2 pieces of history. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so these are stuffed grilled artichokes, and how they are made, you wash the artichoke under cold water and then pull off the lower petals. And then after you finish cleaning it, you take a knife and cut the pointy parts to get rid of any thorns. And then next, you take a steamer basket and you put it in a water-filled pot on a medium-high heat and place the artichoke in it. You leave it in there for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then after that, you cut the artichoke in half, and you take the rest of your ingredients and you put them in the middle of the artichoke, and then you cook them on a grill for about 10-15 minutes. And then the history, there are more than 140 different kinds of artichokes, and the specific artichoke used for this is also referred to as the green artichoke and the French artichoke. Okay, these are called hangtown fries, and first you pat down the oysters with a paper towel to remove any moisture, and then you take your egg and you put it in a bowl and you beat it, and then you add in the milk or the cream, and then you take the oysters and you dump them into the mixture and then into the breading, and then you fry them and cook the bacon, and after the bacon is done, you take the rest of the beaten egg and you pour it onto the bacon, and then you cook it for about 2 minutes, and then it kind of looks like an omelet, and then you flip it over on the oyster and you let it sit for a few minutes. And then history is in the late 1800s, Hangtown was known as a mining region in California. It was named Hangtown after 2 people were hung there on the same day, and that's where the name came from.
Well, that's a great name. Kind of a morbid thought.
Okay. this is a French dip sandwich. And first, you preheat your oven to about 425 degrees, and you place the beef on a shallow baking pan, and you bake it uncovered for about 30 to 45 minutes. After it's done, you place it on a cutting board, and you let it sit for a couple minutes. And then after it's been cooling down, you cut it into thin slices, and then you take your French rolls and you cut them in half, and you add your beef to them. And then you make the dipping sauce, and you let it simmer for about 10 minutes before serving it. And then in 1918, Philippe Mathieu created the French dip sandwich. And the story goes that one day he was preparing somebody's sandwich and he dropped it in the dippings of a roasting pan, and they turned out to like it and came back the next day and brought friends to order it. Chazzin's famous chili. So you rinse the beans out and then you boil them for about 2 minutes. Then you remove them from the heat and cover the pan with the lid for an hour. After the hour, you drain the liquid and then you let the beans rise again. Then you add in the diced tomatoes and juice, stir it, and let it sit for about 5 minutes. And then you cook the meat, and after it's cooked, you add everything together. And where the chili was originated, it's like one of the most famous. And the creator, he never gave the recipe out, so the recipe is like the closest it can get to it.
Okay, good job, Isabella. Okay, let's go to the next on our list here, Miss Lamb.
Mine does not look that good, but
Well, we're just gonna go with what you got. May not be as bad as you think.
so I
Did
did
New England.
New England.
All right, there you go.
So the first one I did was Rhode Island coffee milk. Coffee milk is found in the smallest state. It got introduced in the early 1930s. They say that coffee milk is similar to chocolate milk but has coffee syrup in it. They serve it in a glass or by half pint, and you can only find it in this small state. Sometimes the addition of ice cream is an option, and then they call it coffee cabinet. They call it this because the person that invented this drink kept his blender in a cabinet. Diners and drugstores wanted to create a new fun drink, so this is what they came up with.
When you're ready.
Oh. New England clam of chowder. Clam of chowder is thick, sometimes a creamy chowder with pieces of clam or fish in it. It is a popular item found in New England. The difference between a soup and a chowder is the broth. The two most popular types of this chowder is the Manhattan style and the New England style. Adding milk or cream gives the New England style a characteristic that others don't. On the other hand, Manhattan clam chowder is most recognized by its red presence. Fluffernutter sandwich. This sandwich is loaded with stuffed peanut butter, marshmallow fluff, and possibly bananas. The sandwich brings back memories for people because marshmallow was found in many foods when they were younger. It's a popular sandwich, but also a local tradition for New Englanders. In 2006, a fluffernutter was served to a little boy in school, and the school almost got sued because it was not healthy enough for kids. October 8th is now considered National Fluffernutter Day. Boston cream pie. Is it a pie or maybe a cake? It looks like a cake, but classified as a pie. Pie tins were more common when this cake was invented, so that is why they call it a Boston cream pie. To be honest, it does sound better than a Boston cream cake. They say this is a replica of something called a pudding cake pie. Election Day cake. Election Day cake is either a fruit cake or plum cake. Election Day was important in the New England states. This holiday was so important that they say it was right next to Thanksgiving on the importance rank. Election Day cakes got started as early as 1771, when people would wait for results and eat this cake while eagerly waiting for results.
Okay, thank you, madam. Okay, we'll see who's next on our list here. Looks like it's Echo.
Oh, mine is nowhere near as good as theirs.
Because they're so funny. Oh
no.
right. All right, when you're ready.
I did the Great Lakes. So this is the homemade caramel corn recipe. I didn't put the recipe on there because I didn't want to take up too much, but the ingredients are simple and the cook time. The other stuff's on the next slide.
Okay.
So people started making caramel corn during the fall when the weather gets cold. And people usually give it as a gift for Halloween and Christmas. I can relate to this because I got caramel corn for Halloween, and popcorn goes way back to the 17th century for the Great Lakes. This is deep fried cheese curds. In Wisconsin is the leading cheese making state. They have cheese curds in almost every single restaurant and bowling alley, and it's the main competitor with fries. Sugar cream pie. It originated in the 1850s in Indiana. There is a large variety of ways that it is made, and the Amish had first introduced it in the 1830s when they came over, but it didn't like start getting big until the 1850s. Cincinnati chili. Cincinnati prides itself on being a true chili capital with more than 180 chili parlors. Macedonian immigrant I don't know how to say that one, created Cincinnati chili in 1922. He had called his first creation spaghetti chili. And then tater tot casserole, a hot dish is the Minnesotan term typically known as the casserole that contains a starch, a meat, a canned or frozen vegetable, and a canned soup that is cooked together in one baking dish. This tater tot casserole is cheap and easy to make, so that's why it was made a lot.
Okay. All right, let's see who is our next victim. I think it's Mackenzie. Yep, right there.
Okay. Oh, it's loading. Okay.
As soon as it pops up. Okay, there you go.
There we go. Okay, Deep South cuisine. Fried chicken. A very popular dish in the Deep South is fried chicken. The history behind fried chicken is actually quite interesting. Enslaved African Americans started cooking fried chicken based on the recipes that Scottish slaveholders provided them. It's now a culinary tradition. Scottish fried chicken is cooked in fat, and West African fried chicken is seasoned and battered. Fried chicken originates as a part of the Scottish and West African cuisine. Oops.
Just so you know, I'm taping this class, so if I go too fast, you can always watch the video.
Gumbo. Another very popular Southern food is gumbo. Gumbo includes ingredients of several cultural groups. Enslaved Africans in Louisiana were brought to the French colony, and they started making gumbo. Gumbo is a soup thickened with okra pods and containing meat or seafoods and usually vegetables. Is that like roux? I don't
Yeah.
know what the next.
Yep,
Okay.
that is. Yep.
And gumbo is what gives it its delicious flavor. Fried green tomatoes. Arkansas is known for their fried green tomatoes. Although they are the state known for them, they actually originated in Midwest and Northwest regions. They were linked to the cuisine of Jewish immigrants. Green tomatoes stand up to heat very well. Fried green tomatoes have a slightly sour and tangy flavor that is topped off by its crunchy coating. The acidic part of the tomato mellows out when being cooked. Biscuits and gravy. A Southern favorite, biscuits and gravy goes way back to the Revolutionary War. Many food writers think that its birthplace is in southern Appalachia in the late 1800s. Biscuits and gravy was the ideal cheap meal for sawmill workers. Biscuits and gravy is just what it sounds like. The meal contains flaky, buttery biscuits and sausage cream gravy. This dish is mostly served at diners and cafes and is most popularly eaten as a breakfast food. This is a calorie-dense fuel food for you. Sweet tea. One of the most popular Southern drinks, sweet tea, was invented in 1879 by Marion Cable Tyree. When Prohibition took place in the South, drinking tea became very popular. Tea was very often served with alcohol. Tea plants were brought to the South in the late 1700s by a French botanist. Sweet tea can be as simple as adding sugar or syrup to your black tea while it's still brewing.
Okay. Very good. All right. So, I think, I was trying to think, I think everybody is in this class. Just this, oh no, we're missing 2 people. Okay. So, if you want, you can turn your notes in because I'm pretty sure the 2 people that are here today are not going to be here next time either. So, just go ahead and turn your notes in would be my advice to you. And if I went too fast, you can always watch the recording. I plan on putting that on there. At some point today. Takes some time for it to download, but for the most part, it will be put on there. Okay, so let's just kind of run through and let's just talk about things that you need to get done. So, demo apple brand muffins was last Friday. We didn't have school, but it's still something you need to get done. So, I'm kind of putting some soft deadlines on you guys just because of our day missed and because I only see you twice a week instead of 3 times a week. So if you didn't get the apple brand muffins done, you need to do so ASAP. Okay. If I take late points on it or something, you might be able to email me and say, hey, we didn't have that day, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully I'll remember that you guys have softer deadlines than the others, but, just remind me in case I forget. Your regional project, that was due on Monday, so hopefully you all made that deadline. Your notes, like I said, I would turn those in today so that you don't have to worry about that. And then we have a review study guide that is required for you to complete. And basically it goes over everything that we've done in the unit. And if you took notes along with it, you should be sitting pretty good for the test. If you get this done like you're supposed to, then, this is where you'll find most of your answers when it comes to the test. So I have this due for the kids in person on Monday, I believe. No, yeah, I think it is Monday. So the 15th, is that Monday? I think it is. Anyway, so for Monday, and then we have our test Tuesday, but your guys' test will be Wednesday. So just make sure that you come with this done. And then I will have another demo today, not today, but Friday, I'm going to be demonstrating banana bread. So know that that's a demo that you will be expected to get done as well. And trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it, if you can believe it. So do you guys have any questions for me about what's coming up and such? Yeah, so I want you to make sure, though, for the review or the study guide that you use definitions that we used in class. I mean, anybody can go and put a Google word in and Google it, and Google will pop out something, but this was, remember, related to food influences, so you're not going to get the same type of a definition that we went over in class. So just use your notes that we talked about, and that should guide you, and then you'll be all set. But if you Google stuff, number one, I probably won't accept it because it's not your work, it's Google's work, and it won't help you on the test because of the fact that it has to do with food influences, not just a typical definition of something. So just kind of keep that in mind as you work on it. Like I said, I do have a Quizlet if that will help you out. Just email me that you would like that and I'll send it to you. But, just an FYI there. Any questions on anything else? That was a good question that Caitlin had. Okay, so right now I'm putting in the demo banana bread on there. I don't have the recording, obviously. So you won't be able to do it until I have the recording, and I'll do that Thursday and hopefully get it back into the stream or in this document by Thursday night and or Friday morning, whichever comes first. So any questions on anything else that we have to get done? So the biggest thing is you have a test next Wednesday. that your study guide will be due at that time. You may use it on the test, you may not Google, and you may not use Quizlet. But anything else is fair game of any notes or papers or anything that we've done. Just kind of looking back just to make sure. Oh, and your warm-ups are due Friday, so just a few items, you know. All right. Questions, concerns, good of the orders. Okay, so what my expectation is until 10:45 is that you're either here or there working on things for nutrition to get caught up, to get prepared for the test. You know, so that's where we're standing right now. Anything? Guys are so quiet. Oh my gosh. Kills me. Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording because we're not really